Welcome to the Books and Martinis podcast.
I'm Priya.
And I'm Mercy.
And this is your go-to book podcast,
where we lift, empower, and spotlight authors.
Grab your martini and follow along.
And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to our podcast. I'm Priya.
I'm Mercy. Welcome, everybody. Hey, Priya. And hello, JJ. Cheers to you.
Hey, JJ. Hi. Cheers. Welcome to Books and Martinis.
Cheers, gals.
Salute to a great interview.
Mm-hmm. I love that our martinis are so diverse today.
Hey, look at that.
Look at that. Yeah, so many ways to have a yummy martini.
And what do you got, JJ?
I've got an espresso martini because it's still morning, but it's a pretty healthy pour. I didn't expect it to fill so much. So we'll see what we get through today. I have my little coffee beans and everything.
I'm so happy by lunchtime. Forget it, because we're recording early.
I know. The rest of the day is going to be like downhill from here after this is taken care of.
This is going to be great.
I love it. So guys, in your ears and on the screen is JJ Park. Author JJ Park, and she's the amazing author of Eve's Blessing, part of the Blessed series, and there is a second book. So JJ, why don't you hold that up real quick so we can show them both. We'll talk about it
first
more.
One. Here's the second book, baby.
And what's the name of the second book?
What's it?
It is Chosen Curse.
Chosen Curse. Ooh, I love it. I love it. And we are so excited to have you today. Mercy actually met you at a book fair in Tennessee. Mercy, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about that first?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. We were talking about this earlier. So during this event in Tennessee, it was actually, I believe, the first one, right? In East Tennessee. Yeah. You were there from Kentucky. I happen to live in East Tennessee. And it turned out to be so much more than I expected it to be.
Yes.
Right. By the time that I was towards the end, I think it was not the last aisle, but second to last. I had already gone to the car twice. I had unpacked tons and tons of books. We were already booked through fall of 2026 for interviews, and I was over it. But I didn't want to stop any special author I hadn't met yet. Like, I didn't want to be that person because that could be me one day. That could be somebody else one day. And I just wanted to be fair and make it all the way to the end. So I kind of stopped at your booth. It was a lot. So I stopped at your booth, JJ, and I just looked at you and it just came out from the heart. I'm like, okay, so what makes your book different from anybody else's book? Like, I just needed to know a reason why I would even consider interviewing you. And you looked at me, your eyes were wide, and you're like, oh my God, nobody's ever asked me that before. Thank you, but hold on a second. I have to think of an answer. And I mean, you did great enough that here we are today.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful. Thank you for making it to that very last line of because it was a much bigger event than I thought it was going to be. It was actually really fantastic.
That's great
really
for a first event. Oh my God.
It really was. And can I tell you that most of the amazing authors I found were towards the end. I guess when I first walked in, I started from the left, and a lot of the great, they were great everywhere, obviously, but there were a lot of really great ones towards the right at the end.
You enjoyed the most.
Well, and others that we knew that have been on our podcast.
Yeah.
So it was great because Beth was there,
Macy?
I forgot. Macy was there. Yeah. So it was Macy, her mom, her daughter. It was amazing. Aww. So yeah. So I'm glad I made it all the way through. It was great. And now I'm going to put you on the spot again. I have given you a couple of months.
Let me do her bio before you put her on the spot.
Okay. I didn't think. While we talk.
I've been emotionally preparing myself ever since I last saw Mercy, of which it was an honor.
And her bio is nice, short, and sweet. So JJ Park is a Kentucky native who hoards yarn and plays Dungeons and Dragons. What better way to treat I can't say this word, JJ, it's on your book, maladaptive daydreaming, than to douse it with metaphorical lighter fluid and call it a novel. Hey. Yes. Okay, so obviously that's really short. You're going to have to tell us more about yourself. So why don't we do that first? Why don't you tell our listeners and our readers more about you?
Okay, absolutely. I'm a Kentucky native. Actually, my day job is I work in inpatient physical therapy, primarily with neuro patients. And while I love and have a very fulfilling career in healthcare, kind of this was playing the long game ever since undergrad. Like, okay, I'm gonna get my degrees so that way I can securely fund my very lofty dream of being a writer. So that finally came to fruition last year, and I was so grateful. But I do really love my job. I really love my patients, and I've missed them because 10 months ago, I absolutely like destroyed my knee. Anyone who's been
I
following me on social
saw
media,
on
oh my
Instagram.
gosh.
Oh
It's
man.
like, I want everyone to know, all the tryhards out there, you don't always have to give it 200%. You can like
What were you
underachieve
doing? What
sometimes.
were you doing?
Um,
You don't have to share if you don't want to.
no,
Okay.
it's fine. It was the best way I can put it was a very spirited game of laser tag. I don't know how
Oh,
other 30-year-olds destroy their knees, but that was the way I did it. And a few surgeries later and a lot of rehab, now I'm here. But that actually gave me, for the first time ever, a large chunk of time where it was completely uninterrupted. And I was like, okay, let's see what it would be like if I treated this time like I was a full-time writer. So that was a very interesting, um, not great day, but turned opportunity to see where this could take me, what I could make of it. So, despite all of the setbacks, I have been very grateful for my experience and my time that I've gotten to have with this.
Oh,
yeah, what a
so I'm
blessing.
sorry. It turned out to be a blessing.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, absolutely, yeah, I would say that. I would say
Each
that. I
well.
will.
No pun intended there.
Anyone can tell I'm winking like really hard. Yeah.
All right, Mercy, hit her with your hard question.
Yes. So, what makes Eve's Blessing different from any other book? To those that read it, you know it. But to those that have not picked it up yet and have to read it because it's such an amazing book, what do you say as an author would make your book different or worth reading? How's that?
Mm,
That
I like.
easier?
No, I like that. Oh, yes, we have such a rapport now that's different from back in April end of the weekend. Um, I would say that because this is part of a romantasy series that's still ongoing. Like we said, the second book is out, third book, rough draft is done. So I'm working on
Excellent.
that. But the first book can act as a standalone. Like for the
Okay.
most part, it wraps itself up. There's a few plot threads that I expand in um, future works. So it's just a lot of people I've noticed nowadays have been struggling with like time commitment or the emotional capacity to like commit to a whole series. Like it can be kind of intimidating. So the first book, it's like you can read it, appreciate it, and if you're done, then like you're fine. You can just enjoy the story on its own. But if you like want more, then there's more books after that to tickle your fancy.
Love
Um,
that.
but I would say mostly that and just like the elements of grief and trauma, how that can kind of bind us together to other people, even more sometimes, maybe not more, but differently than like shared joy. Shared grief and shared trauma, I think, can tether you differently to people than like shared joy can. And the characters in this, I kind of tried to exemplify that.
Love it.
You do that in a beautiful way. And it's so different from most romance fantasies out there.
Mm.
Yeah.
It is really different. It's a
I mean, it
completely
has the
different take.
palaces and stuff, but you're not going overboard with bad boys or anything.
Oh.
I love that.
Mm.
And so to conclude, it is a trilogy, or
Yeah,
could it be
well,
more than that?
I think it's turning into, I know how I want it to end. I don't know why I thought I could wrap this all up in one book. I clearly was very naive. But I'm finished with the third book and it still hasn't reached the ending that I want it to yet. All authors kind of, I feel like most of them struggle with brevity. So I believe after the fourth one, then it's like it's done and I have a lot of other ideas I'd like to move on to. But ideally four, I'm pretty sure after four it'll be done.
Beautiful.
You're
Beautiful.
pretty
I
sure.
love that that's different too.
Pretty
Yeah,
sure.
pretty sure it's not 100%,
It's not
That's
but
fair.
we'll
100%.
take it.
It's okay. You make your own rules. So if
That's
by end of
true.
number four, you're like, I'm not done. You can do another one. And
I
nobody's going to tell you anything.
I wanted to get there though. Like I'm ready to I love it. I love these characters, but like they've lived inside my head for so long that I'm ready to make
You
room
need
for
to put
like
them out.
other. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'll be ready for them to like have their story told and be done.
Perfect. I'm
So
sorry, I'm
what
looking at some stuff here. Go
yeah,
ahead,
so
Priya.
what inspired you to write the story?
Ooh. So
Like how did the concept come up? How were you inspired? Like what happened? Was there an epiphany, a dream, or was it like, a slow romantic, like drawn out process that
I'm going to
was
add to Priya's
yeah.
question for you
mm,
because on that same, the question I was going to ask you that I was looking at my notes right before she asked you that was if we Google the name of your book, right? Eve's Blessing. There's
mhm.
also another book by Susanna Weiss
Yeah, I
with the
think
same exact title.
yeah, I think I've looked that up before and I noticed that. Um,
So
definitely not
did that
related.
have, okay, then that was my question. Was
Yeah.
there maybe, I thought maybe that might have been an old book that inspired you into writing this one, or
Well, that
was there any
happens a lot
relation?
with with book titles. Sometimes book
Although,
titles repeat
right.
themselves. Look at all the court and thorns that are out right now. Like,
Yes. I
And
love
although
the
they're not the same.
they're
I
not the
just
same.
didn't know.
yeah.
Yes. Hmm.
But go on to Priya's question.
Yeah.
She answered
Oh
mine.
no, you're
Thank
good. You're good. Absolutely no. I love all the books where like the name of nouns, they talk about like the court of thorn and
Right.
roses
Yeah.
and everything else, and it is like still it's so good. I think the original inspiration came to me junior year of undergrad, which was in 2016, 2017 was when the idea first came to me. I've always, like a lot of people on here, like would write and have written, but so much of that took a back seat while I was focusing on academics. And I didn't pleasure read for probably about 6 years straight, because if I ever did read, it was just for school. And I remember thinking of like, I want to write something that I would want to read. And I wanted something with like yearning and woefully damaged individuals, or just, like two people who are like, as it says, like broken but into the same shape. And like the peace you feel with someone there, you can just be.
Mm.
You can just coexist with this person next to you with an unequivocal understanding of like, I belong to you, you belong to me, but it doesn't necessarily need to be said like that explicitly.
Yeah, they were
Um,
synced up. Even Safir were synced up.
oh my gosh.
Definitely.
I love you saying his name. That just gave me like
you.
Safir.
my cheeks are so hot right now. Like I'm so warm. No, yeah, absolutely. And me and my friends are a big fan of Eastern media and shows. So there's a genre called like isekai where it's basically like a fish out of water experience. You're in another realm. You're in another world. So like a Chronicles of Narnia is a good example of like a
Mhm.
Western isekai, or even Bridge to Terabithia kind of is a good example. And I love the fish out of water experience because you kind of need it for like to be the audience input to explain like what this world is and like why it would be weird to you. It's weird to them because they're like your input in there. Um, but I definitely, like I said earlier, I like the elements of grief in it and how it can like bind people together. And I don't know, I just really like, I just kept weaving that through the text without really understanding it until after it was done.
How do you pronounce the world? I know it's
Oh,
Walyre, but how would you pronounce that?
in my brain, I pronounce it Willier.
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 Oh, I like
Okay, Willier.
Wheeler.
And so why does Eve leave Philly to go there as opposed to leaving Kentucky? Why Philly?
Oh gosh, I think because honestly, there was more pressure of like, I live in Kentucky, she should live in Kentucky. It means I should know what I'm talking about of like where she goes.
Ah,
And like even where I live, Muhammad Ali is huge, but it just felt like the right kind of place I wanted her to be at. And for future reasons, geographically, I wanted her there.
you had the big city.
Hmm.
Because I see the art in your book. It goes from the big city to the other world. So
Yeah.
those that can't see it, um, I'm just
On the
showing the
front
book.
cover,
It's
yeah,
beautiful
upside
art.
down. There was a movie like that where you're like in one plane and you're touching the other. It was like a sci I don't know the
I,
name, but it
I think I
totally
know what you're
reminds me of
talking
that.
about. Yeah.
Yes.
So let's talk
Eh,
about the characters a little bit. So
Yeah. All
Safir
right.
and Eve, where did you
Yeah.
come up with them? What inspired your characters? And of course, Nicky, her brother, who
Oh my
yeah, the
gosh.
little
evoked
brother.
his, grief. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah.
Okay, stop me at any time if I
No
like
spoilers.
do a
No, I
spoiler.
honestly, you can give any spoilers. I
Mm.
fight myself to not feel vain when I want to talk about my own book. It's
Okay.
like I struggle with like trying to celebrate myself. So anytime anyone says my characters' names, it gets me.
Oh,
Aw,
okay.
So what
I
was your
like that.
question?
Let's talk about Eve, Safir,
Mm.
and Nikki.
What
And
inspired
also,
you with the
it,
names?
what inspired you with the characters, the names, and of course, topping it off, like who's your favorite character? Because I know there are more
Yes,
folks.
Absolutely.
a lot of questions.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Even Nicky, um, primarily in book reason, those are their names is because they were found like on Christmas Eve at this church. They were abandoned. So the nuns that found them named them, Eve for Christmas Eve and Nicholas for Saint Nicholas.
Mhm.
Super good. And for Safir, I remember I played around with that name a lot because there's not a lot of flack, but there's a lot of memes about fantasy names, and it's like you can't pronounce it like in Twilight, how everyone makes fun of Renesmee's name.
Yes,
They call it
Yeah.
yes.
like Ricky Tikki Tavi or Ratatouille or whatever. So I wanted mine to sound, of another world, but
Smooth.
still
Yeah.
pronounceable.
Easy.
And it was really easy to do in that a lot of these noble families, they're very vain, so they name their children as kind of like an homage to them. So Safir and Ashire, their father's name was Ron Ire, his dad's name was Muir, or what have you. So that name just kind of flowed really quick, and it just felt like it just, I don't know, it's kind of like the second his name popped in my head, I'm like, oh, that's your name. Like I've had your face and your words in my head for so long, but when I like put all the letters together, I'm like, oh my God, that's your name. That's who you are. So
You
yeah,
felt it. It came together.
yes,
And
absolutely.
which one of all of your characters is your favorite? Or do you identify with the most? Let's put it that way.
I would definitely say easy. My favorite character is Selassie,
Oh,
Okay.
who is the swordsman to Safir, the prince.
Hmm.
Primarily because he has quite a heavy backstory. And I feel like sometimes we don't see that as much, especially with like B-list characters and their backstory, especially he has a history of self-harm. So we see sometimes he masks his hurt a lot with humor, which I feel like regardless of where you're from or what realm you hail from, like that's relatable. He's like a goofball, but just as well exceptionally capable. Like him being the best swordsman in the land, regardless of it being his blessing or not. Um, I think really, I don't know, it just anchors him in the story a little bit that he is so pivotal for both Eve and Safir, outside of him just being like um an employee for the noble house. Like he is their friend. He is like their ride or die friend.
Aw.
so if you love him so much, is he gonna have a prominent role in book two?
Yeah, it's he's
Not
there.
putting you on the spot.
No, he's there. We definitely expand like because so much foundation gets laid in book one, and
Yeah.
this is mostly just a passion project, that I'm like, okay, then I get to kind of peel back the layers a little bit on everyone because so much is established, I don't have to like reiterate it in book
Yeah.
two. So yeah, definitely we learn more about Selassie and his relationship with Maisie and just how those two kind of came to be and how they continue to grow together. So yeah, he definitely he gets his time in the sun, I think.
I love that. Between the first, sorry, Priya, I'm
No,
taking
go ahead. Go
over all
ahead.
the questions here, but they're just coming to me. Between the first time that you sat down and either started writing the story or typing the story to the day that you completed the story of the first book, the one that we're discussing today, Eve's Blessing, how long of a period of time was that?
Um,
And how did that look for you? How did it feel?
yeah, I love that because everyone's process is so wildly different. Um, it's so the idea started in undergrad. It wasn't until in March of 2020, I was at my final clinical rotation, and of course, the whole world shut down. And that was really hard. So I hadn't graduated yet, so I couldn't go out and start working. So they sent us home for 5 months. I didn't hear anything from my clinical instructor or anything. So I thought to myself, well, I'm just going to study for the boards and I'm going to try and finally write this out. So the first 5 months in COVID shutdown, I wrote the first half of the first book.
Okay.
And that was a very interesting experience. I just got to stay kind of saturated in my own ideas in my own world for so long. And I definitely didn't share it with anybody else because I wasn't comfortable enough to do that yet. And then when in August or so, we finally got to go back to clinics. And then I started to get to work in the hospital because they mostly just needed warm bodies at that point. The writing took a break for about half a year until I picked back up on it. And then I finished it in January of 22, I think
Okay.
is when like that very first rough draft of your book that everyone like you love your book baby so much, but looking back your first draft is such a yike
Right.
in retrospect.
Yes.
But it took probably about that long for me because the process was so erratic and I was trying to get my feet underneath me as an adult and during a
Oh,
pandemic.
yeah. That
The
was a rough
COVID and the
time.
pandemic seems to have like inspired. I mean, obviously, it was not a fun time, but it
Hmm.
inspired a lot of authors to create, artists in general to create during that period
Artists in
because
general.
you had a lot of time
Absolutely.
on your hands,
Yeah.
So what better
Yeah.
way to express yourself and then to write books or paint or create things and
Yeah.
video and all that stuff. Very
Yes,
It
interesting.
I
definitely
agree.
it definitely created that opportunity of like, well, if I don't do it now, then when? Because like we all were just at home
Absolutely.
not doing anything. So if I can't do it now, when would I ever like bring
Right?
myself to do it? So I think yeah,
Right.
that definitely spurred a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the one feedback that you received on your book that kind of maybe solidified you to yourself as an author? Because I think everybody else already accepted you and embraced you as an author, but sometimes we're our hardest critic.
Mhm.
But a feedback that you got that you said, "Oh wow, wow, this is real. I made it as an author."
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like professional feedback from my editor, and I'm like,
No,
oh man, that's a whole
no,
other.
that's another beast. We're not even going there.
I appreciate
But
that.
like
Thank
from
you.
a reader, from a reader.
From a reader's perspective, it was real. I think it was a few weeks ago. I was at a signing, and it was for this pair of really sweet girls that I had met months and months prior, and they bought my first book. And then they came back all these months later and remembered me, and they came back just for the second one.
Mm.
And they they were about as cool as I was because I was like, oh my gosh, you guys, I can't believe it. Like I'm definitely not a cool cucumber. I hope I never am when it comes to
Mhm.
people like approaching me about the book. Um, but I think when they discussed at the end, well, I can't say too much, but when
No
even Safir,
spoilers.
I know when even Safir, they come when you come to a moment where they have an understanding of who they are to each other, um, that really hit home for them. And like I said, anytime someone says my characters' names that lived rent-free in my head for so long, that just like it echoes it into existence even more. And that alone is so rewarding, regardless if anyone pronounces the names correctly or not. So having that
You know what they
continuity,
mean.
yeah, yeah, it means a lot of having someone who was there for me for the first book and then came back for the second book was very validating.
Oh, that's
That's
beautiful.
so
I'm
cool.
sure you felt
I,
special.
I do have to point this out. Like you have a very poetic view of the world. Just the way
Oh,
you're explaining things and just like embracing like moments. And I
oh.
obviously we don't know you like personally in your life and stuff, but just from what I'm sensing right now, it feels like you view life as very poetic. Like
Oh, thank you,
try to like
Maria.
And
hold
positive.
those things. Yeah, yeah, that's beautiful. Now
I've
you were just talking about like that moment. You tell me if I shouldn't read this or not, but there's a quote at the end of the book
Go for it,
and
go for it.
that I loved it. I love this. It's like three little paragraphs. Can I read it?
Go,
Yeah.
go. I will not tell you no. I
And
Waiting.
have no pride. I will not tell you no.
I just thought, I mean, the whole book was beautiful. The world building, the character development, everything was beautiful. But this paragraph, I'm just like, oh, like, and it's Safir talking. So he says, this is page 369, guys. I strongly debated waiting there overnight. I stood there, deciding, with every fiber of my being, to live with her. Every action of mine would be an act of admiration for her, and maybe somehow that would help heal us both. For the one who dared me to love, who taught me to grow through my sorrow, for the one my soul called home. I'd wait with empathy to allow her to recover from grief. We could lean on each other. We could hold each other up. It was frightening yet comforting to be so sure of someone. My very being ached to share that with her. And I welcomed my chance as. Well, it was a slash. But like those three little paragraphs, I was just like, I mean, there was a lot in here. There was a lot.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, it's a beautiful book.
Is,
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, just the adoration and, the love right there.
Thank you so much.
To know it and to see it, I feel is one thing, but to be able to put it down in words like you did takes a real honor. I'm so sorry. That's my little dog.
Well, that's so funny because her cat just jumped up.
I was about to say, if you want to check out, this is Winry. We've been trying to get she's our little rescue. She's our little alley cat, and this is the only place she'll eat. Is right here.
What a
So
princess!
Like, she's gonna have to be part of it. She's a good baby.
So cute, so cute. And is Bentley there, Merce? Yeah.
She won't stop barking. She wants me to go and see whatever she saw in the street. It was either UPS or who knows what she saw, and she'll keep barking until I go to the front door and look.
God forbid someone walks in front of your house.
Yes, exactly. Anything. A truck, anybody, anything. So I was saying that's so beautiful. Those that have not read the story, I wanted to share a little paragraph as well. It's a story of shared grief and trepidatious love. Watch these two strangers make their own purpose in their respective unforgiving worlds. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
So I think after finishing such a poetic, I think it's a beautiful way of describing it, Priya, such a poetic and beautiful book. This kind of sums it up if those of you that are listening are wondering whether you want to read it or not. It's a beautiful way of a Shakespeare with fantasy and with so much reality, because so many of their feelings, we could call them what we want to call them, but so many of them are just all real feeling.
Relatable.
So, yes, absolutely relatable.
Mm-hmm.
And so anybody that's writing a fantasy or a love story or a book in general, what would you give them as advice now that you've written 2 books? Actually, you've written 3. So what's your one piece of advice that you would give an author that you feel is either struggling or looking for inspiration?
My first and foremost piece of advice that I wish someone had given me at the start of this process, because it's been like a wild ride, but I wish there were parts that were smoother that could have been. I would say do not take rejection as failure. Those two don't have to coexist in the same Venn diagram circle. It's just a means of learning and growing. And any writer, author, what have you, that is worth their salt would always say they are learning and growing, and their writing style changes over time. I don't think anyone has it 100% nailed down, figured out the entirety of their career, because the business is changing so much, the readers are changing so much, and so it's really easy to get caught up in a rejection as oh, this is a sign I'm not meant for this. It's no, absolutely not. This is a sign that you are, because you decided to take a chance on this. Pat yourself on the shoulder, good job, me. It's really hard to go out there and take a risk like that, because a lot of people don't, and you deserve to know what that chance feels like.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I love the way you describe that, the Venn diagram.
Yeah, they don't meet.
They don't have to
They don't have to be.
They don't have to
coexist.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so let's touch on book 2 real quick.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit about book two.
So book one, we kind of go back and forth between like Eve's world and Saphir's, and we're balancing that out. And we're spending a lot of time getting to know ourselves and the characters in the world. Book two is we are expanding more into the world. They're actually traveling to another city. Like it kind of opens with that's the thing, if they're having to travel to another place. And a grand majority of the book takes place there, where we get to dig into the present characters, meet some new ones, a little bit digging more into the magic, but also like the consequences of the first book, like everything that Eve went through and everything that Saphir has like learned and become more of himself is definitely like present in this book. They definitely have a lot to work through together in their respective roles, but also just in relation to each other. So again, like how we deal with grief and how that affects the relationships around us and vice versa. But it definitely, I'd say it's definitely more adventure, more fantasy, a little bit more spice. I'm all about earning
Ooh.
and yearning a little bit more. Like you have to work for it because book three is like,
How
oh
many
my gosh.
peppers did you give it?
Oh my gosh.
Chili peppers.
How do you quantify a pepper? Like what
So
is
I'm different because
Priya
I
would
love
know.
this stuff. I love
Tell
spicy
us,
stuff.
Priya.
good
I
for
love
you?
so
We need that.
I don't know. So you have to so
What would you rate the first book, like Priya, under your standardized like score? What would you rate the first book in your
not
terms of chili
very
peppers?
spicy.
Not very spicy. Yeah.
Not very spicy. The tension was great, and the
Mm.
love, and how they came together is great. But yeah, not very spicy at all.
I would
I
Yeah,
think
say,
the spice is being saved for the third one, but
that usually happens.
we
Some
have
like
to start
series
rating.
like
So
build up.
maybe, right? Maybe we
Yeah.
start with like one hot pepper, then we do two, then we do three. Maybe the fourth one, if it comes around, could be four. Who knows where that could take us?
I
Be
think
on
that's
fire by the end.
we're just all on fire. I think I would probably put it as that the first book, maybe like one is chili pepper
Two.
because it isn't much. It's mostly about like the yearning, the healing, the
Yeah.
loving, the romance
Yeah.
aspect because
There's a lot going on there already.
they both so struggle with intimacy for reasons that are in the book. The second book, I would maybe consider maybe
Okay.
two chili pepper, and the third book, I'll just go ahead and say, like I was getting so hot and bothered the other day, you guys. Like
Oh,
I was
Love
like, my
it.
mama's gonna read this. My mom can't read most of these to begin with, so I don't know what she's gonna do with the third book. But the third book, I would say, is like it would probably, I think it would tickle Priya's fancy. If I could
Ooh.
speak on
oh,
behalf of your
Priya.
fancy,
Yes.
I think you
Okay.
would like it. Like we've earned it. We're there.
We
Like third
graduated.
book.
The door's wide open because they call it like closed book, open book
Hmm.
romance.
Yes,
I
Like
know.
open
yes.
door, closed door,
Open
open
door.
door. And right
No.
now it's like cracked a little bit. So then we're like
Hmm.
slowly, and then whoop.
I mean, we do have two worlds and a lot of baggage that they're kind of
Yeah,
unfolding
Yeah,
and
exactly.
unwrapping, going through. So there's a lot happening.
Yeah, but if you stick with me to book three, I think you've earned a well open door and like some good lighting and everything in between.
yay!
She's not giving it to you, Priya, until you earn it. So let's
Dang
see.
it! I gotta make it through book
I
two.
love
Some
that.
people like that. So yeah.
Okay, well, I love it. I love it, and we can't wait to read the second book and the third book. And we're so
Yes.
excited for your success and what's coming for you. How can our readers and listeners and viewers find you?
Oh, I am on TikTok, Instagram, Lemonade, Facebook. Email me, mail me, send me a postcard, please. I am everywhere. It's so exhausting, but they can find me. I think me and Mercy were talking about the just underscore JJ underscore park, just JJ. But I
Yes,
post on there
JJ.
a lot. It's mostly about my books or my dog or about
Your
this
leg.
god awful knee. So
Yeah.
we're so they can definitely find me on there. I will be there. And I love to
That
like
is beautiful.
chat and reach out.
And what's your preferred way of people getting your book?
Ooh, that's an important question. I mean, it's mostly most easily available on Amazon and Kindle Unlimited and Barnes and Noble, but there are a few select indie bookstores in Kentucky that I just are my home away from home and I love to rep. a novel romance, Main Book Hook, and Blush and Bashful books, all independent bookstores in Kentucky. So if anyone wants to buy like my book that day, I'd prefer them going and having patronage to an independent bookstore if they can, if it's close to them.
Oh, I love
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Support
So
independent
maybe,
bookstores.
maybe that could be something that you post on a post, right? Like
Yeah.
on Instagram and just kind of share those bookstores so that others can see them and it's an option
Hmm.
because I know many of the readers love buying from indie bookstores and supporting them. So that would be
Yes.
fantastic. Better to go to your indie local bookstore that's supporting you than to go to ours that we usually go to already.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. I feel you.
beautiful. Excellent.
Well, thank you so much for being our guest today. You were so wonderful.
Oh my gosh. I feel like we need to go out for actual not that these aren't actual martinis, but like but maybe like I feel like we could do some damage. But no.
Yes.
You
Yes.
guys were so sweet. Thank you for asking me your scary questions in person and over Zoom. You guys are just absolute gems. So thank you so much for all you do for
Cheers.
like supporting authors.
Cheers, JJ Park. Everyone, go check her out. Go check out her books. Follow her online, and support her amazing work and her book, Eve's Blessing, from the Blessed series. And like, share, follow, subscribe. See you in the next episode.
Thank you guys so much.